Unbelievable. I'm reviewing a James Bond film, and I love it. Skyfall. Talk about a movie that I did not care for. I mean, I know it was coming up, but I don't care. It's James Bond. I never liked James Bond before. I don't have any fond memories for any of the film. I never even watched Quantum of Solace, and I thought Casino Royale was a Transporter sequel. And I never planned on going to see it in the cinema. But as fate would have it, I got a free ticket for it. And so I thought, hey, what the hell? If it sucked, I didn't pay for it. And by God, when the 2 hour and 30 minute was over, I was humming the James Bond tune out of the theater. It was really good. I did not expect this. So the plot of the 23rd Bond film revolves around a cyber terrorist who had a history with the MI6. That's like the British CIA, the organization that James Bond worked for. And he is raising hell all over the place. He's blowing up the MI6 headquarters, and he's revealing undercover agent all over the world. And now James Bond, who has been presumed dead for quite some time, returned back to the MI6 and resumed his work to capture this cyber terrorist. Now, what I thought was interesting about this is that we don't have a diabolical bad guy trying to take over the world or destroy it. In this film, James Bond is fighting to save the MI6. Now, the name of the bad guy for this Bond film is Raul Silva, an ex-MI6 operative, played by Javier Bardem. It's Javier, right? I'm sorry because I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Now, as I said before, I'm not a fan of James Bond film, but I did see most of it. Now, trust me when I say this is the best Bond villain I have ever seen. Hell, I think he is one of the best villains, period. Everything about this character was perfect. The writing was spectacular, the line was top-notch, and Javier's performance was phenomenal. It was an absolute joy to see him on screen. He isn't your typical Bond villain with the snidely whiplash mustaches and with a global domination plan. The guy is motivated by vengeance. After being left for dead by the MI6, Javier plotted to make them pay, especially M, the Judi Dench character, for the sin they committed against him, and probably other agents too. And he isn't this typical angry vengeance person. His mannerism is that of a very sophisticated and very carefree individual. He laughs, he smiles, he jokes. It's very unsettling, but it's a joy to watch. He also shows his darker side, filled with pain, angst, and anger. And the way that he showed it actually made us feel sorry for him. You can actually understand why he's doing this. This isn't some one-dimensional bad guy. This is a very deep and unique character. And Javier brought this to the big screen in the most spectacular way. His performance was unsettlingly natural. It's almost like watching a real person going through this pain and trying to hide it with a more sophisticated facade. I mean, I actually care whether or not he's gonna accomplish his vengeance mission. And boy, was he always 10 steps ahead of Bond and his friends. The other thing I like about this film is the Bond girls. They're irrelevant. They are not important. Thank you. I know it's a tradition for Bond's film to have these women sidekick which Bond's always gonna bang, and they're gonna have like this very intricate and long scene where they have sex with each other. I don't mind that, but what I mind is that they brought the whole movie to a grinding halt. Thankfully, they're not important in this film. They show up once in a while, they have that little cute sex scene, but that was it. They are never important to the actual plot of the film. I mean, I think the director actually made this an actual point in the film. Well, spoiler by the way, one of them got killed by Javier. And I think the director was trying to send a message saying that they don't fucking matter. Die! So basically, I don't have anything against women or the Bond girls, but I always thought that this aspect of the Bond film series was one of the weaker points. Sure, it was skin flick, it was nice to watch, but I want to see how Bond saved the world, not how he banged a chick 10 ways. But thankfully, the director thought differently, and thank you Javier for killing them. Bang! The other thing that also surprises me was the fact that I did not expect this much artistry to come from a Bond film. The lighting, the camera angle, the cinematography was beautiful. But I think the director must just successfully elevate the Bond movie to the same level as Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogies. It was that beautifully artistic. To me at least, I thought it was really beautiful. There were many scenes that showcased this, but my favorite is the Shanghai scene. Curious? Go to the theater. I would also like to give a big shout out to Daniel Craig. This is the very first time I think you become Bond. Now I know he was in the previous 2 movies, but I always felt he had more in common with Jason Statham transporter character. It was like that gruff, beat 'em up kind of guy. It doesn't feel like James Bond. But thanks to Sam Mendes and his team of writers, this is the first time I actually think Daniel Craig embraced the character of Bond. He was great as Bond, and his chemistry between him and Javier was really good, which makes the movie a lot more enjoyable to watch. Also, the action scene was really good. The guns fight was great, the explosion was a blast, and I really liked the hand-to-hand combat in this film. See, one of my main problems with Western movie is that every time people got into a fight, especially in this kind of genre of movie, everybody start doing kung fu. Like, wow! And it looked fake and cheap. It just looked like a cheap knockoff of a cheap Hong Kong kung fu movie. But in this movie, it looks more like a brawl, which is actually good. It looked more realistic. It's what would happen if people actually got into a fight. There was nothing flashy, it was just people trying to beat the shit out of each other. It was really good. So 007 Skyfall, a movie that I did not care for and make fun of, because I thought the title sounded like a Zelda game, turned out to be one of the biggest surprises of this year. A great action film with great actors and great cinematography. This is by far one of the best action movies this year. Is it the best Bond film ever? I can't answer you that. As I said before, I'm not a fan of Bond film, but personally, this is a great action movie. So nothing much else to say, but go to the theater and watch this movie. I'm the Thai Terror, and until next time, Sawadee Krap.